the ruling All Progressive Party chieftain, Femi Fani Kayode, hinted that nothing less than 22 senators on the platform of the ruling All Progressive Congress may dump the APC for the main opposition political party, the People's Democratic Party, according to a statement issued via his verified Twitter handle. Kayode on Wednesday, they said the senators are threatening to decamp to the PDP because they have been denied the tickets to return to the Senate. His words, this is serious. Something must be done to prevent it. Many are concerned, and we urge our National Able Chairman and the National Secretary to reach them. We cannot afford to lose them. Meanwhile, the national chairman of the APC, Adamu Abdullahi, had met with the PDP senators on Wednesday. Adamu also met with the president of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, for a brief meeting before the general meeting at the National Assembly campus. We have now joining us in the studio Dele Ojo, a public affairs commentator, to give us perspective on the developments in the National Assembly as it concerns the All Progressive Congress senators. Good morning, and thanks for finding time to be with us this morning. If you can hear me, Mr. Jide, good morning, and thanks for joining us this morning. Okay, we will try to fix the technical problem, and we'll come back with you, with Mr. Jide Ojo, to provide perspective on this development. Mr. Jide, can you hear me, please?
I can hear you.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
I'm sure you have followed development in the National Assembly with the rumored defection of about 22 senators, and the alarm was raised, and we have seen also the National Party chairman visits the National Assembly in a bid to dissuade the senators from making that move. What does this signpost, for the APC at this moment?
Well, it's not totally unexpected that after party race there will be gale of defections. It just goes to underscore the fact that in Nigeria, political parties are special vehicles which politicians ride to power. And as it's commonly said, in politics, there is no friendship or enmity, but interest. It's only interest that is permanent. So, on a daily basis, at every sitting, we've seen lawmakers defecting the party that brought them to power to other political parties. And you ask yourself, do they actually believe in the partyology? Were they interested in ensuring the condition of the party in power? Because I really don't know for what reasons they are defecting. If it is for the purposes of going to get tickets in other political parties, possibly during the window for substitution of candidates, they should know that it's a very dangerous game. Because if you have not participated in the party primaries of the party to which you have defected, how do you intend to go and pick a ticket under that party? I'm sure the court will have its harmful litigating on the propriety or otherwise of these defectors. And I read in the papers this morning that the seats of these federal lawmakers may be declared vacant because there is no crisis in the party. So you cannot activate Section 68, subsection 1G as being the reason why you are defecting. You cannot say because you lost the ticket of the party, and that is a sufficient reason for you to defect. So the point is, we see what the leadership of the National Assembly will do with those who have defected, whether they will write to INEC to declare that their seats are vacant as a result of defecting without any crisis within the party, or that they will just take it as right. And like I said, in 2014, ahead of 2015 elections, we saw this scale of defections from the ruling party then, that's PDP, to APC, and which was what APC leveraged during the general elections in 2015 to coast on to power. Now the table has turned 360 degrees. It is now APC that is hemorrhaging. It is now APC that is losing its members in droves to opposition parties. But we wait to see how all of this will pan out. But suffice that it shows that we run parties without ideology in Nigeria. We run parties on the basis of just providing sponsorship of candidates without any ideas. I really don't know how Senator Adamu Abdullahi, national chairman of APC, plans to stem the tide because these people, you cannot withdraw the tickets that you have already given to, that has already been given to other members to placate these people. So it's either you allow them to go or to remain in the party to undermine the success of the party, because it's a catch-22 situation. These people, even if you don't allow them to go, they can remain within the party and still undermine the party's chances of victory by even sponsoring or funding the undermining or the plot the downfall of the party, even as a member of that party. We've seen that. How many people will you charge for anti-party activity? How many of them can you discipline? But it's a very unfortunate development. It shows 23 years into this Fourth Republic, our democracy is not yet consolidated. Our democracy is still kind of bread and butter, uh, caricature, food is ready politics. So it's only where the food is ready you see these people migrating to. It actually underlines and underpins the fact that our politics is still in its infancy. But it's an unfolding scenario. No one can say with certitude how all of this will end.
Well, so talking about how all this will end now, and you alluded to the fact that something like this, similar to this, happened in 2015 when there was a gale of defections from the ruling party to the opposition party, which actually eventually led to the opposition party taking power. Do we see something like this happening? Is this an indicator that something like this might happen to the APC come the general elections?
Of course, it is already happening. It's not that it might happen. It's already happening. If you do the stats on the how many members APC has vis-a-vis the PDP and NMPP. In fact, NMPP that never had any senator in the National Assembly has now got some senators who defected from the other party, the APC, to NMPP, and likewise in the House of Reps. So it's already happening. And you see the bitterness. I think this is just a show of grounds and grievances by the federal lawmakers. Because many of them believe that they were rigged out of power. I'm at a workshop where we were discussing a few days ago about, the implication of high number of turnover of our lawmakers. Obviously, two-thirds of House of Reps member may not even make it back to the federal parliament in 2023. Likewise, in the Senate, which is why you now see House of Reps trying to grandstand to say that they were going to override the president president's veto over the issue of amendment of Section 84 sub 3, which talks about statutory delegates. I think Section 84, 3 or 4. I'm not too sure. So, the president has withheld assent over that, and the House of Reps member, the National Assembly, and even the state parliamentarian felt that if the statutory delegates have been to vote during the just concluded party primaries, maybe the outcome will have been different. Maybe they will have been able to retain their seat. Maybe they will have gotten the ticket of the party. But you could see that after every party primaries, this is a recurring decimal. It's not just in 2015, even ahead of 2019 general election, this happened. But it may not have happened at the rate at which this is currently happening. But then, what these people need to know is that primarily there are grounds for which you can defect, and Section 68, subsection 1G, had made it abundantly clear that there must be a division in your party, and not just division at the ward level or local government level or state level. It has to be division at the national level. And yes, there are a few dissensions or knocks against the national chairman.
We are experiencing a few technical challenges there, and I'm sure the moment we resolve that, we would have Mr. Jide Ojo back to us to conclude his thoughts on the gale of defection that is affecting the party. Mr. Ojo, are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm back with you.
I would maybe you conclude your thoughts after this question. You talked about the grounds for defection, and you had initially alluded to the fact that there seemed to be no justifiable grounds for this defection. But the fact that these people have alleged that they were schemed out of things, don't you think that is sufficient ground for some kind of crisis in the party, especially? Like you also mentioned, we've seen one or two allegations here and there against the national chairman, and how the national chairman seemed to have supported the governors to have orchestrated what appears like a deliberate manipulations to have thrown them out of power. Isn't this sufficient grounds for them to have argued the need for them to move on, especially again because the Senate president is also affected here? Do you think, given his own current circumstances, that he would muster the courage to even be able to declare their seats vacant?
Well, we wait to see how this pans out. But you see, in every battle, in every fight, someone must win, someone must lose. And as a politician, you should expect the unexpected. You cannot win all the time. Many of these people who are today foul, who are alleging are rigged out, they previously have rigged out people. When they in their favor, they say, oh, this is democracy in action. When it is against them is when we hear their voices. And I have earlier said, you were asking me about whether I believe that they have sufficient ground to defect. The point is, if you're a good party man, you will not defect because you have lost it. Um, you stand with the party through thick and thin. You may lose to contest, but what about appointment? If you're a good party man, you can still find yourself in an appointive position. When you're in opposition, you are going to queue behind those who perceive that they are the owners of the party. You are going to be like a stranger in that party. Look at what has happened to Governor Godwin Obaseki in Edo State, who, because he wanted to return to the government house, decided to defect. Now he defected with his supporters, but have they been welcomed in PDP? Now they are having issues about how to share the political offices. Over 2 years now that he has won his re-election in 2020. So what I'm saying invariably is this: In politics, just like in life, you win some, you lose some. And I feel that if you are actually a loyalist and a faithful member of a party, the fact that you fail to win a re-election bid should not be sufficient for you to defect. We have cheapened the process of defections. And mark you, even if you get the party nomination, even if you are declared the standard bearer of the party, it doesn't mean that you are going to win at the general elections. This is an internal party election. Are they going to have any better deal in the new parties that they are defecting to? Are you sure? It's a gamble. He who's afraid of throwing a six will never throw that. Who is afraid of throwing a dice will never throw six. That's a popular accent. So they've decided to take a gamble to join opposition. But I know their fortune may not be any better in the opposing parties where they have defected to, because like I said, if they are looking at the window of substitution to get the nomination of those other parties, um, well, I wish them best of luck. Whether that will help them, because the issue, I also brought out the issue of high turnover of lawmakers, which has not all gone well for us. But you need to look beyond the surface. Why do people fail to get re-election or to get tickets for re-election? It's not just necessarily because they were rigged out. Sometimes it's an agreement, internal agreement within the zone or within the state, that okay, this decision will be rotated among the three central districts or among the local governments making up the constituency and such. You cannot be the only one going to the federal parliament at every election. This is not the norm in other climes, but in Nigeria, in a way, to deal with issue of inclusion in a multi-ethnic, multi-religious environment may be one of the reasons why some of them they won a ticket of the party. But whatever it is, I know that this dust may not settle until after the 2023 general elections coming up in about 9-10 months. So, unfortunately, we are so myopic in Nigeria in terms of politicking that if you don't win, then it's either your way or highway, and it should not be. Like I said, just a few days ago, the president just nominated 7 new ministers. These 7 new ministers that were nominated possibly didn't know they were going to be so appointed at the beginning of this dispensation in 2019, because somebody was in that office. But as long as God will have it for them, the people who were there before voluntarily resigned to go and pursue to higher political career. And now their fortune has smiled on them, even if they are going to be there as ministers for 9-10 months. They have entered of history as a former minister at the end of this 2019. So if you lose the ticket to come to parliament or to come to the National or State Assembly, that is not the end of the road. If you are a loyal party man, if you don't get ticket for re-election, you can actually get nomination for ministerial appointment, for board position, for ambassadorial position. There are 1,001 other vacancies that you could be nominated to occupy, which will even better your fortune than being a member of parliament. Look at the case of what happened in Zamfara, where the former deputy governor was impeached, and the governor, Bello Matawale, decided to pick a senator, a serving senator, as his new deputy governor. That is appointing, moving from elective to appointive position. We also saw the case of the national chairman of APC, who until recently, until March 26, 2022, was a serving member of the parliament, a serving member of the Senate. But he relinquished that position for another political office when he got elected as the national chairman of APC. I think there was also another senator, maybe deputy national chairman, who also moved from being a senator to becoming holding the party position. So what I'm saying invariably is that if only those who are desperate to dump the party, if only they can calm down and be more calculative, they might even gain better if they remain within the party than going to becoming stranger in another party. But I'm not a politician. I'm not a professional politician or even any card carrying member of any political party. But I'm just second guessing and speculating that for these people who are desperate to dump the party because they could not get a ticket, if they calm down and are more calculative and they are loyal to the party, they can still gain in terms of apartment, in terms of
All right, Mr. Jideojo, we move slightly away from the defecting senators to the whole concept of defection and the issues that have given birth to them. Is there something we can do, on the part of constitutional amendment or even on the part of some kind of an act of the parliament that could restructure what we currently have, that finds a way of ultimately punishing people who jump ship, especially after securing a victory on one platform, and then midway into the sale, you decide to jump ship. Is there something we can do to, because it does appear that I don't know if my history or memory fails me right now, we seem not to have been able to successfully declare anybody's seats vacant since the advent of this act of defection, and therefore it does appear that it has become institutionalized to the extent as you described, where political parties are merely an SPVs, a special purpose vehicles for getting into an office, and not necessarily running with the ideology or the philosophy of that political party. Isn't there anything we can do to stem this tide?
Well, like I earlier mentioned, there is a constitutional provision already that creates the defection, especially that is not as a result of crisis within the party. And what happened in APC right now is not something we could classify as a crisis. Yes, few members of the National Working Committee accused the national chairman of running a one-man show. But that's where it ends, and he has apologized, and the National Working Committee is back together again. But not so those who will not hear, even if all the laws will always be loopholes that these politicians, and I will classify them as desperate politicians, there will still be loopholes that they will want to explore in order to achieve their interest. So it's not about law. I've given you the example of Section 68, subsection 1G, which applies to Senate and House of Reps member. And there is a corresponding section of the Constitution which also forbid members of the State Assembly from also defecting unless there is a crisis in their party. The only one that I know who do not have any punishment for defection is that of the executive, the governors or the president defecting. Having said that, what we know for a fact is that Yes, the court has actually punished some of these defectors. Uh, I recall that there is one Abegunde in Ondo State, a member of House of Reps whose seat was declared vacant, and the court said yes, uh, the, the Speaker of House of Reps was right to have declared this vacant seat, and a by-election was conducted into that position. There have been a couple of others likewise. It's just that for majority, it's either that, when you defect from the opposition to the ruling party, the speaker, the Senate, president of the Senate will definitely not declare your seat vacant because it's a gain for his party. And where the threat of punishment comes from, or the declaration of your seat vacant, is when you move from the ruling party to the opposition. But it's a decision that could be challenged in court. Our court processes are never very fast. So even while uh, the defection may have been done, you go to court, then the defector will challenge the validity, and this can drag on for very long. And election is just around the corner. We are already about to enter July, so we have like 6-7 months to next general election. So while you are still at that, declaring or not to declare a seat vacant, those whole thing, before the final court decision is made, you may actually have served out your tenure. But I'm just appealing to all those who wish to defect to think twice and know that, yes, they may have lost the ticket, but they may not altogether have lost if they remain loyal party member. They can still get political appointment, and it is the ruling party that has this in terms. It's the ruling party that can better their political fortune because, like I cited the example, those who have just been appointed ministers, they never possibly thought that they were going to be able to so honored to be minister of the Federal Republic. But because they've remained loyal member of the party, they were selected to be a replacement for those who have earlier resigned. And it doesn't matter, even if you are just a minister for 1 week or a month, you still remain a former minister when your tenure lapses. So,
All right, so Mr. Jideojo, thank you very much for all those
they
insights
should look
and
at it from
giving
one
us
perspective than the other.
a very good analysis of what it entails with this gale of defection. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you on the show as usual.